Hi friends, welcome to Life on My Side of the Universe. My name is Nabila. Today I have a very interesting story that I would like to share with you guys. Please, if you are not sitting comfortably, make yourself comfortable, bring yourself a drink or a snack, whatever you need to feel good. You can even pause this video and do that. Before we begin, I brought in some incense that I want to lit up and make my space feel calm and smooth while I talk to you guys. This incense is called Goddess. It's by the brand Nitiraj. I adore this scent. It's very important to keep yourself hydrated. I've got my glass of water ready. I also have my dear friend Doris here to accompany us during this story time. Hi, Nova! So, back when I was in high school, I did not have many friends, and in my last year of high school, I decided that I wanted to bring a little joy to others around me. Since I was being very lonely, I wanted to give back to others, and the way that I thought to do it was actually really clever in my opinion. Most of the time on dinner time, I was eating all by myself, and it felt very lonely. So what I decided to do was to try to interact with every single student in the school in a particular way. Let me explain. It all started when I did a little experiment. I was drawing on the desks. I know you shouldn't, but I was still doing it. And I would write nice notes to the stranger who would next take the seat. Someone responded to my message and actually wrote something back. And I felt really nice, and I liked the fact that I was anonymous doing it. Then I started sitting to another desk and try to see people's reaction to the messages. That was a little fun of mine. So while classes were very boring, I would always be looking at other people, try to see if they would look at my message. So what I decided to do then, let me explain how the school was set up. So our school was set up that the lockers were in the main corridors where the classrooms were, and the cafeteria was on the main floor. At lunchtime, we weren't allowed to hang out in the corridors. We were to hang out downstairs. So what I thought was, I'm gonna put some notes on people's locks while they're away on lunchtime. I started with about 12 little pieces of papers that I would write genderless quotes and compliments on them, and I would fold them and I would stick them on the back of the locks. So when you walked in the corridor, you wouldn't see the notes themselves, but when you got to your personal lock after lunchtime, you would touch the paper and then you would know that something's on there. The most glorious moment was the first time that I did it. So I went in the corridor, no one was there, everyone was enjoying lunch, and I, as a loner, of course, I didn't have anyone to accompany me, so I was alone doing it. And I put them sporadically everywhere in that one corridor, and then when the bell rang, I stood at the entrance of the corridor and I just looked at everyone's faces as they saw the paper, and it was magical. Let me tell you, some people, they just looked at the paper, they threw it on the ground like, hey, what is this? But some other people, they actually smiled at it and decided to keep the paper, and they put it in their agenda. And I even saw someone else, they just turned around and they're like, who is it that did this? And I was like, oh my God. Of course, it was me, but no one knew me since I was a loner, so no one suspected me, and that was the beauty of it. At that point, I decided to call myself the Happy Fairy. And so what I would do is during my homework time at home, when I was done my homework, I would cut all these papers and write individual messages on them, and they would all be unique messages. And they were all random messages that I sent out to these strangers, and I just wanted to enlighten their day a little bit. So I had a lot of ambition that year, and I wanted to put one paper on at least every single lock one time. So what I did is I printed out several sheets with numbers, all the numbers of the locks. So I stuck that on the box, and every time that I would stick a little paper on their lock, I would cross out the number to ensure that everyone had a little note from the Happy Fairy. Being the Happy Fairy made me really happy. I haven't really met anyone in the school that figured out that it was me, and honestly, I didn't do it for that. I only did it for the satisfaction of sneakily going and see what people's reactions would be. And honestly, it was very entertaining, and I'm really glad that I did it. So guys, if you want to take this as a lesson, when you're feeling alone or bad, you can always turn this around and spread happiness around you instead. See, I took a moment in my life that was really stressful. Eating alone was stressful. I would go in the bathroom stalls just so that no one saw that I was alone all the time. Or I was tired of being depressed all by myself at the library waiting for lunchtime to be over. So I decided to take that period of time and transform it into something completely positive. There was even that one teacher that was always on everyone's back. Don't do this, don't do that. No, 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 no. And that teacher saw me in the corridor one lunchtime, and she's like, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to hang out here. What are you doing touching people's locks and everything?" And I explained to her what I was doing. She absolutely adored my idea, and she let me do it. She even looked at me while I was doing it, and she was smiling and all. So you see, even if it's not people my age, I can still influence other people just by being nice to others. The Happy Fairy is still something I love to do from time to time. For example, I always like to write a little encouraging note in the snow for any stranger that may pass by. And you know what? The snow may even melt before someone sees it, but the intention is still there. When you put out good in the world, it will come back to you some way or another. Happiness has this ripple effect where if you do it to one person, it will encourage them to do it to another and another and another. Of course, I'd love to see the real extent to which I helped people, but it's not for that reason that I do it. I think that's something that every one of us could help at some point in the day. For example, I would always write little notes and leave them in my ex-boyfriend's room, and every time he would pull up a pair of underwear, he would find a little message from me. It's super important for your loved ones and your friends to know that you love them. So leaving them notes like this is a little attention that I always like to do. I'm wondering, friend, is there one instance that you also turned something negative into something positive and you helped spread love and happiness? That was it for today. Thank you for sticking around for this story time. I love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Please remember to always spread a little happiness when you feel down. It will make your day better as well as some strangers, and it will have a beautiful ripple effect. Take care.